What's up guys, Tony here. Today we are going to continue the service series and we are going to do all 3 holes in this Harley: transmission, primary, and oil. What you're going to need, we went over in the previous video, you're going to need 5 quarts of oil. For the oil, you're going to need 1 quart of transmission fluid, 1 quart of primary fluid. What I'm using is the Sen 3 in the oil, so I have 5 quarts of that. And then for the primary and the gear, the primary and the transmission rather, I went ahead and I picked up some of the gear oil that Harley just came out. It's a synthetic gear oil. It's 80 to 140 weight, so a little thicker. So I'm going to go ahead and use that in the transmission and the primary. You need 1 quart each for that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to start on the right side of the bike first. We're going to do the transmission and the oil, and then we're going to move to the left side of the bike and do the primary. First thing we're going to need is we're going to need to get the bike upright. So you're going to need some type of stand, some type of jack to get the bike off your Jiffy stand in an upright position. Okay guys, to get started, here's your oil here. Your transmission port is behind this cover, which is on the right hand side of the bike. So let's go ahead and get that removed. You're going to need a 5/32 Allen key to do that. So let's make that happen. So now that that's removed, if you look right back here, this is your port for your transmission. And you will need an Allen to get that dipstick out. So go ahead and pull those 2 dipsticks out, the transmission and the oil. That's going to create some air and let that oil drain out faster. As we're going to go ahead and remove some drain plugs. I've already removed the one on the transmission case. This is it right here. If it'll focus, let's see. There we go. There is a little magnet tip on this, and when you pull, there may be some metal shavings on there. Nothing to really sweat, but just clean it off and you should be good to go. And you want to replace this O-ring here also. That's going to be in your kit, and a little Loctite when you put it back. So with that, let's go ahead and pull off the oil side. There we go. All right. So the oil shall be flowing. There's the cap, really not that many metal shavings, but it is a little dirty. While that is draining, let's move over to the left side of the bike and remove the oil filter and install the new one. This is my least favorite part just because it's messy. The oil filter is located right here. It is on the left side of the bike, right in front of the jug, right above the shifter. The best way to get these off is to go buy one of these at the Harley dealer. It is a wrench designed specifically for the Harley oil filters, and it just makes life a little easier. So the first thing I do is I try to get something under this thing, a rag or something. Just put it on there and twist it off and try to be quick about it to minimize the mess. There we go. Here we have the new filter. So what we want to do right out of the hole is go ahead and add some oil to this filter. Not much. That's probably a little too much. All right, so now that we have the oil in the filter, about halfway full, let's go ahead and stick it back in there and screw it on. So when you screw this thing on, guys, you don't get crazy with it, all right? But once when you feel it engage, you want to give it about a 1/2 to 3/4, and that's it. If you go any more, it's going to be a nightmare to get off. So now that we have the oil filter put back, guys, we want to come back on the left side of the bike. We want to replace the O-rings, clean off the drain plugs, and apply a little Loctite, put those back where they belong, and torque those down to 19 foot-pounds, 18 to 19. The range, let me get my book here, and I will give you the exact range of those. They're anywhere between 14 to 21 foot-pounds. Again, service manual really comes in handy. I ran mine at 19 foot-pounds. So you don't want to get them too tight because you'll crush the O-ring and create leaks. So now we have those back in place. We can go ahead and put the fluids back. 1 quart of whatever type of transmission oil you want to use. I ran about 3/4 of a quart, checked it. It ended up taking almost a full quart to get a full rating on that. So your transmission dipstick should be torqued down to 25 to 75 inch-pounds. So again, not crazy tight, but you want to get that tight. Go ahead and put your battery cover back on and you're good to go. The oil, go ahead and put in 4 quarts or a little bit more. It takes 4.5, but you really can't get an accurate reading until you get it off of the stand and back on the Jiffy stand. That's when you'll get accurate reading. So after all that is done, let's go to the left side of the bike. On the left side of the bike, same thing. Going to remove the drain plug about halfway up on the left-hand side of the crankcase. Underneath is your primary drain plug. Go ahead and pull that, start the oil draining, and go ahead and remove your derby cover. Once you get that derby cover removed, you want to take a mental note of the level of the oil in there. It is really hard to come across on camera, so I'm really not going to be able to show it to you, but you're going to have to take a mental note of where that is. I'm going to show you where that is in the service manual right now. So now that we know where that oil level is, we're going to go ahead and drain that oil out, let it do its thing. Once when it's done draining, we're going to go ahead and replace the O-ring, clean off the drain plug, Loctite, torque it back into the other specs, like I said, about 18 to 19 pounds. After that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill the primary back up. As we've replaced our drain plug, just like the other ones, new O-ring, Loctite, 18 foot-pounds back in place. Now we're going to fill it up. I use this little funnel, just makes life a little easier. And again, I'm using the gear oil, the 80 by 140 by Harley. We're going to put this in and kind of watch what we're getting because it has to be a specific level. So as I go, I'm going to put about 3/4 in. And then I'm going to take a look. Almost. And that looks just about perfect. So, pretty much a quart. A little bit over, not much. But you want to make sure that you do not overfill this. So now we're going to put this derby cover back on. But you want to make sure that your gasket is seated properly. And you can replace it if you want, guys. I didn't replace it. It's perfectly fine. It's going to do the job. So I'm going to go ahead and get a couple of these screws started. All right. So now that we have those started, we want to tighten them down. We don't want to torque them down yet. We're just going to tighten them down, but we need to go in a star pattern. So that star pattern is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what that is, guys, that is a Torx 27. A 25 fits in there, but you want to make sure you use a 27 because these things are easy to booger. So we're going to torque them the same way we put them on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And guys, that is job done. That is all 3 holes. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything wiped down and cleaned up before I start it. And we'll check, we know that the primary is good. We know that the transmission's good. We're going to let it run for a while, and then we're going to check the oil just to make sure we're good there. But let's get back to the bench, and we'll do a little round table. Then once when you get the bike off the upright stand, you want to go ahead, get it on the Jiffy stand, start it, let it run 2 or 3 minutes. Check that oil and make sure it's at the desired level. Add a little bit if you need to. So there you go, guys. We have replaced all 3 fluids in our new Softails. Dead easy to do. Filming, it takes a little bit longer to do, but if I was doing it without the camera, just doing it is well under an hour to get all 3 done, and it is dead easy, and you save yourself a lot of money by not going to the dealer and letting them do it. It's really easy with just simple tools that you should have in the garage anyway, except for the stand. You may need to go get you might have to go buy that. Go to Harbor Freight, they're cheap. So anyway, also you can pick them up on Amazon. So anyway, guys, that is it. Next time in the service series, we're going to tackle the clutch. We're going to learn how to adjust the clutch. Again, another easy service to do. It intimidates a lot of people because it is clutch and it's important. If it goes wrong, things go bad. But it is an easy adjustment to do. So we're going to tackle that in the next video. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please give me that thumbs up. I really would appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. Should be a button right over here. It's going to get you all hooked up. And, oh, another thing. Today is Monday the 15th of April. Wednesday night, tune in to the Great Egret at 7 o'clock Central. We are going to be doing a live cast, him and I. So I don't know where it's going to go, but it should be fun. So Wednesday the 17th, April 17th at 7 p.m. Central Time. So that's 8 Eastern. The Great Egret and I will be doing a live cast. You can go check it out at thegreategretmoto.com. And come check it out. It should be fun. But guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me waste your time as always. And like always, guys, ride safe and be careful out there. Until next time, later.